Hi, everybody. It's Lisa. How are you doing today? I hope you're doing great. We are going live in just a few minutes with Rose, and I will get her on immediately. Hello there.
Hi.
How are you doing?
I'm good. How about
Good.
you?
I'm good. Thank you very much. Can you see the Facebook live stream from your end?
I can see you, yes.
Okay, there we go. We're on. Well, I'm so glad to have you on. It's just, I just can't tell you how excited I am, just because your business has grown by leaps and bounds, and it's just so amazing. It's just so amazing. You know, when you put the right people with the right, like when you hook up people the right way and you do what you're supposed to be doing, it just, everything falls into place. It's just a really cool thing. I love seeing that.
Yeah. Well, you started this.
Well, it was my pleasure, let me tell you. So everybody, we are live today with Rose Rattee and Mother Mary Speaks. Rose has a wonderful Facebook group, and she's opening up a brand new website and all kinds of great stuff, but we'll get her on talking about that in a second. She has a very accomplished spirit channel, and we'll get Rose to tell us about what that entails so that you understand. And she's also a fantastic medium. And she works with a Triumvirate, I don't even know if I'm saying that right, of Heaven to get their words and teachings out to everyone. So I will have on the show notes Rose's website, the email, Facebook links, all that kind of great stuff after the show when I post the edited version. But you guys are able to view it live. So all mistakes and everything. Ha! Yep, that's the way it is.
Let's hope there isn't any.
You know what? There's always something weird and goofy that goes on. So it's live shows. That's what happens, right? So can you tell us, Rose, what is, I don't even know if I'm saying it right, Triumvirate? Triumvirate? What does that mean?
The Triumvirate of Heaven means the top three spirits of heaven, which would be God, of course, that would be the Holy Mother or Holy Spirit, and then that would be Jesus as well.
Wonderful.
So, yeah.
That's wonderful. I know primarily, at least for a while there, you were channeling Mother Mary, which is beautiful, absolutely beautiful. I've heard some of your channelings before, and I've been with you when you've channeled before. And so it's such a cool thing. Can you tell the audience, what does it mean to channel?
Well, actually, there's a couple different types of channeling, and I've been told that the type of channeling I do is a little old-fashioned, let's say. And what that is when I go to bring spirit in, you'll see me yawn. They have a high energy. Their vibration is very high, as you know. And then at that point, my spirit leaves my body and their spirit comes into my body. So virtually they're taking over.
That is very cool. Yeah, I don't channel too often anymore, mostly just when I do seances and stuff like that. So you're much more accomplished in that than I am, because you're doing it all the time. And you know, it's funny how, you know, we come into our spiritual or intuitive or mediumistic development, but it's spirit who actually tells us how to use it or where to use it and where to go. And it's kind of a funny thing. I don't know if you really had a hand in where your spiritual business is going, but I know I didn't.
No, I don't think I do either.
I don't think so. I just follow along where God tells me to go, and it's a beautiful thing. It's
It
just a
certainly
beautiful thing.
is.
Yeah. I'm going to keep it really easy today. We're going to be chatting with Rose about her history and about the new website that she has coming up about channeling. And Rose will do a few channeled messages. Whomever comes through is fine, right? Because it's a message from our higher self, from the divine. It's a beautiful thing. Yes, it is. So, Rose, what is your history with all these heavenly realms? Because I know you've been interacting with this type of thing since you were young.
Yeah, I have. And actually, it started back with my grandmother. She was a healer with Jesus. And that was just the normal, the normal life we had. My mother was always very religious, and so was my father. So it just kind of followed down. Now, to be honest with you, I was raised Catholic, but as far as that goes, God is not religious. So, you know, all this came on later. And truthfully, I've been following God's word instead of following the churches.
Mm-hmm.
So,
you know, you bring up a great point, because it's a funny thing when, you know, with what I do, and I'm sure you might get it with what you do, you know, people shaking their finger, you know, and saying, oh, you're going to go to hell or whatever. And I'm sure you know just as well as I do that we're doing God's work. It's not of the devil. It is not. I really feel like God has put each and every one of us, not just mediums or healers or psychics or whatever. We are here for a purpose, and this just happens to be ours.
exactly.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, how else is God going to get his words out if there isn't souls like us that bring the word out to make people believe?
Right. Well, many people, if they're very religious, would say that the priests or the rabbis or the ministers or whatever are the people who speak and for God. And
Yes.
as this is, oh my God, I'm so bad. I'm going to say, and that's why religion is so messed up.
Oh boy. Yes.
That's another topic, isn't it? Yeah, that's another topic. And mind you,
just put a post on.
I'm not saying that you are right or I am right or they are wrong or what. I am not, absolutely not, because I truly believe that everybody has their own belief system, and that's the way it should be.
I agree.
Yeah.
And, you know, unfortunately, I just did a post with Father a few days ago that brought up this point. And the point is this: regardless, as time comes, we're getting more and more spiritual.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a lot of people leaving the church because the church has got teachings that truthfully basically pushes half of us out, because, you know, how many of us actually can sit back and say, I've never sinned, or I've never done anything that I didn't think was a sin, right? So when Father says, you're sitting here and you're praying to a higher self, you're praying to a light, you're praying to, you know, whatever it may be, understand it's me. I'm here. You know?
Exactly. I love it.
Yeah. So I mean, as far as that goes, understand that the churches came later, and this was all induced from the apostles, and that started, you know, a type of religion, let's just say. There were women involved back then, and then because of the goings on, the women were taken out of certain religions, and, you know, everything just started with their own rules, and unfortunately it scared a lot of people off.
Mm-hmm.
You know, God's hoping everyone comes back to just believe in him. And,
right.
You know, he doesn't have many rules. The biggest one is, if you love each other and you have respect for other people, this world is going to be different.
Exactly. Because of the type of the readings you're going to do today, Rose, I think what we'll do is take most of the questions toward the end, so you can stay in that energy, right?
That's fine.
So everybody who's logged into the show, you do need to raise your hand down below or up above. Wiggle around your cursor a little bit. You do need to raise your hand, and I'll get as many people in as possible. But for right now, I do plan on taking most of them toward the end so that we can, because like I said, Rose is channeling. It's a completely different energy versus hopping in and out, So
Yeah.
what led you to channeling of all things?
You.
Tell me about that, because well, I remember like this much of it,
Yeah, well, I guess a precursor to most of this is that things were happening in my life, and I didn't know where to go. So, of course, as Spirit brought you into my life. And my kids had you doing readings, and we had quite a few meetings. And all of a sudden, wouldn't you know, I found out that you had classes. So I had joined your class, and of course, like you said, didn't know what path I was to go in. So when you had us do a reading one day, I basically went to sleep, and Spirit came in and started talking.
Aww.
And that's when you said, whoa, hold on, you're meant to do that. And you found me a perfect channeling teacher, and it's history.
I just love that. Like you, my impetus for development was a low point.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of stuff going on, and then you throw up your hands and say, okay, God, where am I supposed to be? Right?
Yeah.
And then the teacher arrives. Right?
Yes.
Because it happened with me too. It did.
Did
it happened with me too. So I think you get to that low point. You're put in that low point to make you seek a higher power. I love it.
And how many times do you walk through the house and you hear someone talking to you and saying, turn the TV on? Yep. And you turn it on, and there's John Edwards, or there's Sylvia Brown talking, and it's, okay, buy this book, buy that book. Yeah, come on, I get it. I get the idea.
Yeah, it's funny because, I've had experiences with Spirit ever since I was a child, but I kind of like turned it off, It wasn't until my mid-30s that I kept on hearing, go to church. I'm thinking, oh, that is not me. That is not me. So I knew that there was something or someone that was trying to get me to go. And surprisingly enough, where the church that I went to was a spiritualist church. So that's a long story. But anyways, so it's interesting that you're hearing go there and do this and buy this and all that kind of stuff. And so our stories are much alike. That's really cool. That's really cool. So tell us about, like, when you first started channeling, were you thinking you were making it all up?
Oh, of course.
Yep.
You felt a
so
little
how do you know you weren't?
Huh?
How do you know you weren't? Because that's the hardest part for most people.
I think the biggest thing is, I don't use big words. And Spirit came in and they're talking a certain way, and I'm thinking to myself, I would never say that. That word doesn't come out of my mouth. So,
you're right. You're right. That's so cool, because both of us are we're just normal people,
Exactly.
Nothing fancy schmancy about us, either one of us. But when those weird things come up or come out of your mouth, or like, there's no way you could have known things like that, and then you look it up and it's like, oh my gosh, that's real. It's a thing.
Yeah. Well, I remember the first time channeling Jesus, and all of a sudden, I do a lot of yawning, but the yawning is because they have so much energy.
Right.
And it kind of slows down when our vibrations meet. So anyway, I remember my spirit leaving, and I could feel Jesus just sliding in, and then you get tingles on your tongue. just different things that happen. It's just kind of different, but you get used to it, and it's just, you adapt.
That's funny, because when I wrote my book, I channeled Jesus a lot. I never got tingles on my tongue.
No.
So obviously everybody's a little different, right? Of course they are.
Yeah.
And the way it comes through. So give us a little bit about the new website that you've got going on.
Well, actually, I guess that was brought on because we have this site on Facebook, and at that, we've had to, let's just say, silence a few things. It does bother me that if I go to put a post on, I can't, as of now, I can't say who the post is from, because
Really?
Facebook has brought on their rules and they're getting quite stringent. So it says I have to state that I'm not a representative of the Triumvirate of Heaven. Why
Really?
is that? Because I'm not an organized religion. Who knows? But anyway, there's
so
quite
you
a
mean
few
to tell me that you can't write "This is channeled by Jesus"?
I used to be able to. I can't any further.
Oh my goodness, that's craziness.
Yeah, and now they state that I can only give posts that are from me. And Father
Wow.
put on a message back to Facebook, and he said, we can follow some rules, but there are some that we just can't follow. And the fact that, the words, if they were to come out of my mouth, just get lost in translation. So we found ourselves having to open up a website. And not that it's a bad thing. I think it's going to be wonderful once it gets done and starts working,
I'm sure.
So the biggest point is to make sure that everyone knows God is there. And even if you're a sinner, it's not that he doesn't love you. He never stopped. He understands we're here to learn. That's part of our learning process.
Of course. The development of the website was brought about by your gaining power, your gaining oomph, I believe. Intuitively, I feel this. Because of what, granted, Facebook is always changing their algorithms or their rules or what have you. But at the same time, can we not simply let people believe what they want to believe and give the people the power to believe what they want to believe? And if they don't believe it, or if they don't agree with it, they don't have to frequent the web page.
Unfortunately, as time goes, people are voicing their opinions more. So then once they get a certain amount of people that, say, for instance, don't like the site and complain about it, then they feel they have to go back, and we've been threatened to be taken off many times.
That is craziness. I'm so sorry that you're experiencing that. I get it as well. And what just cracks me up is, we're promoting in our business, we're promoting love and support for everybody, not just that person, that person, and that person, So I feel sorry for someone who feels the need to spend time trying to dig up dirt when there's none there.
Right,
when there's none there.
Why would someone complain about a site that wants to promote love, wants to promote change? And
exactly.
Are people happy with this world how it is? As Father says, we've taken his name out of everything, and now what do we expect? If if anyone thought about God at any particular time, the one thing you always knew is he was love and he was goodness.
Exactly. And that's the way everybody should be, no matter what your belief is, right? Yeah, whether you're believing in Jesus or Buddha or Kuan Yin or Maitreya or somebody else, that
And
should always
everyone
be,
is wonderful.
yeah, that should always be your goal, right?
Yes.
So because of the Facebook difficulties, you were kind of forced to open up a new website. So with the website, then what are you trying to accomplish?
Actually, I'm just trying to accomplish, or should I say, heaven is, because every word, almost every word that comes out is from them. The biggest thing is just we need a change. And as things continue to get worse, we need to look to Father for our help. There's changes, and there's many changes coming, and unfortunately, the ones that are near are not good. So at that point, I have been told that there's going to come a time when everyone has to decide that they want better. And at that point, everyone's going to turn around and pray to God, because that's their last resort. And then once he gets the majority that believes in him, this world will change.
You know, I can't agree with you more. I really can't. So those that do believe, how do they come to find that the words that you're channeling are actually true?
I believe the biggest thing is just feeling it in your heart, because you know what's right and wrong. It's built into you.
Exactly.
You know?
Exactly. Does it support truth? Does it support love? Does it support other people? Does it build people up?
Exactly. And it does every bit of that. And it's not, you know, there was a channel one time that had a list of rules, or his rules, I should say. And one of those was that self-promotion. And this couldn't be farthest from that.
Exactly. Exactly.
You know,
I get that too. I get that too in my business. And I totally get, I don't get it with what you're doing versus what I am doing. But we have to pay our bills. And if we're to serve, we still live in the physical world. We have to pay our bills. Plain and simple, to be honest with you. So I guess that's the big thing for us. And people don't see that. They think that we should work the 9 to 5 at the drugstore, or, engineer, whatever it is, and then do this work this much, because that's all we'll have time for. Right?
Yeah. Well, as you know, I've got 2 other businesses.
Yep.
And this has actually taken over that. And I can't say my husband's thrilled about it, but you know how that is. But anyway, this is absolutely taking over my life, and I'm allowing it to be. They don't push me beyond what I want to do, or what I allow them to ask. So at that point, if I'm meant to work, which I do, probably 16 hours. Yeah, I'd say I probably work 16 hours a day. I sleep 6, and the rest is a little bit extra. So anyway, this is my life. And the biggest thing is to change this world, and everyone needs to believe in God again.
I agree. And why? They need to understand why. Right? So whether you consider God your higher power, or the Almighty, or the universal source, or whatever, that's what we're talking about here, right?
Yeah, and he's every one of those.
Exactly. So why does everyone feel the need to continue on with the drama? Oh my gosh, the stress, the hatred, like we were talking about, even the simple things on the Facebook pages. Why do they feel the need to do that?
I think the biggest thing is because, first of all, you come to this earth. You're born here and you grow up here, and the negativity has a way of taking over. So then you get critical, judgmental, and you start having different, let's say you get stuck in a rut, you know, you're used to eating at whatever time, so that has to be how it is. Kind of that scenario. You get away from things. How many times in your life have you, you know, when you were smaller, you believed in God, and all of a sudden you're going to school, and next thing you know, things are going on and you're having fun with friends and on, and you just push them away. So, you know, there's different scenarios you can go by, but the biggest thing is, you know, you just don't look to him in a lot of cases until you're having a problem.
Right.
And then all of a sudden, God help me. Who do they look for other than him? You know,
exactly.
I know a few people that do that. They don't believe in him, but as soon as something gets hard, it's, oh my God, help me. Why did you ask for him? You know, because he's your only possibility.
Yeah,
he's your
exactly.
only help.
He's the last resort.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a sad thing. It's a sad thing. You know, because what I see very often now, and let's face it, a lot of people don't go to church anymore. As spoken earlier, you know, because of maybe the rules and the regulations, and then you're gonna go to hell because you're whatever the reason. So then it falls to the parents to teach the children, right? And what I see, it's almost like the Easter Bunny, Santa Claus, God, you know, everybody's in the same boat. Once you get to school, it doesn't exist.
Absolutely.
You know? Yeah.
But did you ever wonder why they came up with the Easter Bunny when that's a miraculous time of year for Jesus? You know, I mean, one side we're sad, but another side, you think about it, it's joy. He overcame evil. He's up in heaven. He's looking over us. What joy. He took his position, right? He took his seat next to God. And here we are bringing the Easter Bunny or Santa Claus. You know, I have a little difficulty with that, but of course I have quite a few grandchildren that, you know, I have to play into that.
Of course.
So, yeah.
You know, it is what it is, right? So,
absolutely.
What's next on the docket for you? Like, if you had one thing to do, like, it would be fantastic, what would you do? I know that you have a website coming up, and that's pretty exciting.
Yeah, that's going to be exciting, especially not to have anything that hinders what I want to say. You know, wonderful. And the biggest thing is for people to know who's putting the post out. To be honest with you, I'm following Spirit. You know, as you said, when I first started Mother Mary Speaks, the first year, I think it was all Blessed Mother. So at that point, then we started bringing in some saints and archangels, different things. Our prayer list is always wonderful, and Father and I pray on that every night. You ask for special intentions for someone who's, you know, who needs it, but you know, they claim I'll be starting to do speeches kind of like you do. Wherever they lead me, that's where I'm going. Well,
because that's where I see you going. Not like I'm your authority, but that's where I see you going, doing more public events and things like that. Didn't you say you had a book in the works?
Yeah, we do. I've gotten quite a few channelings done. The first part of the book is, I think I have about 85 or 90 channelings with Jesus. And then I've got about 80 channelings with different spirits, mostly saints, archangels. So it's getting closer, but I wish I had more time to work on it.
No, I get that. So Rose, will you give us your contact information, you know, website, Facebook group, your email, all that kind of stuff?
Yeah. Let's see, if you want to get us at Facebook, we have 2 sites. The Speakings of Mother Mary, and that brings up Mother Mary Speaks. And then Father asked me to open up a second site in case that first one got shut down. And that's, God the Father in the Triumvirate of Heaven. And then, like I said, the website will be God the Father in the Triumvirate of Heaven.life.
Wow.
And he picked that. Quite a name, huh? It's
Yeah,
perfect.
it is. It is. It is. That's awesome. So let's get into the messages. So I'll give you a couple seconds and then I will, okay, so everybody, if you want a reading from, I don't know who's going to be coming out, but so Jesus or Mother
I was
Mary.
told that Jesus would be working with me today.
Okay, good.
So I'm assuming he'll be in the rest of the show.
Yes. Okay.
So
let me know when you are ready and then we'll go.
Okay.
Now, would you like them to ask a question or is it just, you're just going to wing it?
You know what? Let's see what Jesus has to say.
Okay. All right. So what's going to happen here, everybody, is I'm going to promote you to panelist. You are not to ask a question. I know this is it's just different. And then allow Rose to channel Jesus and present the message to you. So the first person that I am going to promote is Misty. So you can just say hi and as you come on, and then Rose will begin. Hi. Hi, Misty.
Well, hello. We have Misty. Well, my dear, I want to tell you that you have many possibilities. So many times you have a way about you that brings graces on, brings blessings to other people, because you've got so much to give out of your heart. You've got so much joy in you, but many times you have a hard time showing it. You have joy in your life, but many times you don't see it for what it is. You have blessings, you have gifts from Father, but then again, you don't use them. You have a tendency of being, let's say, in many cases, you have a tendency of being a little negative. And at that, I want you to look at the positivity in your life. You have love. Many that decide that they want to experience differences understand that this doesn't have to happen because those experiences are in your life right now. Sometimes many of you find a harder time coming forward and bringing this joy to other people. But you, on the other hand, bring graciousness and love to everyone around you, but you don't see it in your own heart. I would like you to bring joy into your life, more into your heart, more understanding that you can be this amazing gift to other people around you. But just understand that you do that already. Many times you just don't see the goodness in you. And therefore, I want you to understand that it's there. It's that gift. It's that promise. And you are fulfilling many of your journeys. You just haven't exactly taken that into account. You think that you don't know what you're here for, but you have a determination, and that determination tells you which direction to go. And at that, be so proud of yourself because you're following in the path that you should be. So understand, you are loved by Father, and many of you don't think you are. You think you've sinned, and how could Father love someone who sinned like this? But That's your lesson. That's the reason you're on this earth. You're on to learn this. And therefore, once you understand that, life, you will see that joy. Thank you.
Thank you. Wonderful. Thank you. Let's take another caller. Let's go to Jillian. This is Jillian.
Hi.
Hello. Well, Jillian, I see you having an issue, and that issue would be some of your trust, let's say, in someone around you. And at that point, understand that they're being as trustworthy as they possibly can. But with that, understand that everyone has a, let's say, a setback. And with that setback, the joy will come. You will see that you can be close to them again, and you can trust, and you can follow that journey with them and know that everything will be fine. So just understand that there are many, many circumstances that will give you reason not to, let's say, not to follow, but in, let's say, in another respect, you don't have reason to mistrust. This gentleman, I will say, has shown you that he loves you. And at that point, allow it to be. You will know in your heart when it's time, and therefore you'll make the appropriate push towards this union with the two of you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Next, we have Michelle.
Hello.
Hi, Michelle.
Hi.
Michelle, first of all, I want to thank you for coming in today. You have a, let's say, an essence about you, a way about you. And I tell you that way brings you into many paths. And one path that I want you to see, that I want you to know, is a path of spiritual work. You've had some situations come up that have made you wonder about that. And I tell you, find someone in your area that is willing to work with you, and just understand you've got quite a amazing path to go if that's where you decide. Spirit would like to work with you, but at that, you have to want this as well. Many times you've thought about, let's say, people in our line of work, and at that, you've questioned. And I don't want you to question any further, because this is your path of work as well. So as long as you follow this path, you could be quite well known, and you could be quite a, let's say, an achievement will follow with that.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Next is Roberta.
Hi.
Hi, Roberta.
Roberta, you're another one that brings joy with you. You have a spiritual awareness. And with that awareness, it makes you not only understand a little deeper of what we go through, but it also makes you understand. You have a knowledge of this higher realm, and at that you have been there many times. So understand you have come back into this life. You've come back into this life to be exactly who you want to be. You know your purpose, you know your direction, and you know exactly what you're supposed to do in this life. Sometimes everyone thinks about what they have, and they let's say dishonor the journey. And at that point, I want you to work at honoring this journey that you're on and showing that you realize what you're supposed to do. And in many respects, you're supposed to talk about Father, you're supposed to talk about me, and bring that path into other people's lives. You've always been someone who understood a little more than you give yourself credit for. And you don't know why, but the truth is because you have been there and you remember what the past used to be. So congratulations with your journey into the future. Just know that everything you set your mind to, you will achieve that.
Thank you, Roberta. Next, we'll go to Doris.
Hello,
Hi, Doris.
how are you?
Good, thanks.
Doris, you've got many ideas in this life about achieving certain things, and you're wondering if you're going to achieve those. And I tell you, when you have a determination and you have that drive behind you, say for instance, family or loved ones that are giving you that push as well, telling you to strive for that, then know that you will be what you say you will be. It is a mind over matter situation. So sometimes you have a tendency of let's say, being disconcerted about what it is. And therefore you just need to understand that if you push towards this, you can certainly get the achievement you want, say being a nurse or being a doctor or something to this effect. You just have to push and do that. So when you want something better, know that you have the ability to get that. And everything that you've tried to achieve in the past, and let's say very few you haven't, then those are a lesson that you've come to this earth to learn. And at that point, once you learn that, then you're going to know that you're better at whatever it is you can achieve, because you've got those in the background and you know you don't want to be there again. Do you understand? At that point, I want you to know that when you decide what you're going to do, you have to make that final determination, and then you have to just push a little harder. Sometimes you have a way about you that you might get sidetracked, but don't get sidetracked. Stay determined on what you want to do, and believe me, you will achieve much. You have that in you. And don't ever think that you're not good enough, because at that point, it certainly isn't true. You're everything you were meant to be. God bless you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Next is another Michelle.
Hello.
Hi, Michelle.
Hello, Michelle. Michelle, I feel that you're worried about what's going on in your life. You're saying, I'm not accomplishing what I wanted to accomplish. I'm not fulfilling what I wanted to fulfill. And then again, you've got other issues with some people being sick or some people not feeling well, and that is pulling you in all directions. And at that point, you have to understand that these issues are meant to be, let's say, are meant to stray you from your path, because you really want to get to the point, let's say, where you can retire comfortably. You want to get to the point where you can have things that you want, and you don't understand in many cases that why they're not coming, and then you have people reaching out, and I just feel everything coming to its climax, and at that point you're having a hard time dealing with all this stress that's in your life. And know that once you take ownership of what you've got, what you put towards this, then you can calm down and understand that everything you've done thus far has been acceptable, has been the way that you had planned on doing this. But now you need to work more for you. Instead of giving everything you have to your family, start giving more to yourself, because God himself, our Father, wants you to be fulfilled. And at that, understand that this part of you is in a, let's say, a recess. And in that recess, we're hoping that you come out of that lull and start pushing yourself towards your goal. And that goal is to be more fulfilled for you. So when you're giving to your family, understand that's an amazing quality. But then again, we want you to give more towards yourself, because you have made yourself a way of, let's say, forgetting you. And you need to remember that you're important as well. Thank you.
So Rose,
Yes.
let's break the channel. Let's come back. What I'd like you to do, tell me when you're ready.
I'm ready.
All right. Can you once again tell everybody your links, your email address, where they can get a hold of you?
Yeah, that would be rosemedium@gmail.com. That's just my easiest one. The Speakings of Mother Mary, that is a Facebook site, and that'll bring up Mother Mary Speaks. God the Father and the Triumvirate of Heaven is also on Facebook. And then our new site, soon to be, is God the Father and the Triumvirate of Heaven.life.
Very good. Thank you so much. And everybody, I will have all these links on the show page. I'll have it on my website, as well as we will have it on Facebook, of course, and then our Google pages. And then I also put it on iTunes. So you can listen to the broadcast there. So Rose, I thank you so much for having me on.
Well, thank you.
No, I'm thanking you for having me on, because it's been such an honor to have like a higher level being with me, like allowing me to share you and God and whomever with the listening audience.
Well, I certainly thank you for allowing that.
Oh my gosh, it's been a pleasure, and I love you to death, and I just wish you such great success here. Such great.
Oh, thank you.
Well,
but it's all for the greater
if you
good.
can get everybody from that page over to your website, woo, boy, that's a great thing. That's a great thing. So God bless you. God bless the work that you're doing, and take care, my dear friend.
You too. I'll see you soon.
All right, sweetheart.
Take
Bye-bye.
care. Bye.
So everybody, I have a gallery coming up Spirit Gallery. So I talk to your loved ones in spirit. I have one coming up at Macomb in the Mind's Eye, which is 21 and Hayes in Michigan. And then I have the 3 medium tour continuing in July. Yes, 7, 19, 20, and 21. We're going to be in Macomb, Rochester, as well as Port Huron, Michigan. And then in June, I have to backtrack a little bit. I'll be in Ann Arbor, talking to your loved ones and reconnecting you with their power. Until next week, my little chickadees, may you seek the divine, be the divine, and you'll reap the divine. God bless. Mwah.